We begin in a universe wrapped in an almost unimaginable darkness, a vast expanse where silence reigns and stars have yet to pierce the void. Imagine drifting through endless nothingness, a place where time itself seems suspended and the concept of light exists only as a distant possibility. In this emptiness, the mind instinctively searches for familiar markers, shapes, motion, illumination, but finds none. Here, darkness is not merely the absence of light, it is a presence, a canvas of mystery that stretches infinitely in every direction, both terrifying and awe-inspiring. From this unfathomable void arises a question that has haunted thinkers for millennia. What came before light? This is not just a query of physics or cosmology, but a profound philosophical puzzle. If light is the measure of reality, then what reality exists when light does not? The human mind struggles to grasp the nature of nothingness, for it is both absolute and elusive, a force that feels alive yet untouchable. As we journey into this cosmic silence, we are invited to confront our deepest fears and curiosities simultaneously. Darkness is a paradox. It evokes dread, yet beckons exploration. It is in this tension that the story begins, a narrative that oscillates between the terror of the unknown and the irresistible drive to illuminate it. The universe before light was not empty in the ordinary sense. It was pregnant with potential, a crucible in which the laws of physics, time, and eventually life itself would emerge. Our journey will trace the unfolding of existence from this primordial darkness, revealing both the unseen forces that shape the cosmos and the philosophical questions they provoke. By peering into this shadowed beginning, we are not merely learning about the universe. We are confronting the very boundaries of understanding, standing at the threshold where mystery and knowledge collide. Each moment, each particle, each silent expanse of darkness carries within it a story waiting to be unveiled, a secret that stretches across the cosmos and into the human imagination. Here, at the edge of everything, the narrative tension is palpable. The universe is silent, invisible, and unknowable, yet poised for revelation. Darkness dominates, but it also sets the stage for light, for discovery, for consciousness. It is a realm that demands both respect and curiosity, where fear and awe exist in delicate balance. As we embark on this journey, we confront the paradox of darkness, not merely as the absence of illumination, but as the origin of all that we see, know, and dare to imagine. This section sets the tone for the journey ahead, inviting viewers to feel the weight of pre-light darkness, to experience its vastness, its emptiness, and its potential. It is both an emotional and intellectual entry point, a cinematic opening that frames the universe as a stage where mystery, fear, and wonder coexist. In the shadows of the pre-light cosmos, we begin to understand that darkness is not simply a void, it is the beginning of everything, and it holds questions that will challenge our understanding of reality itself. We step into the dance between light and darkness, two forces that define the very fabric of our reality. Light, in its brilliance, illuminates, reveals, and gives life, while darkness conceals, challenges, and stretches the imagination. It is easy to assume that darkness is simply the absence of light, a passive void, but in truth, it is far more profound. Darkness is a canvas on which the universe paints its earliest stories, a stage upon which energy, matter, and the very laws of nature first begin to play. Before light reached our eyes, before stars cast their glow, darkness was the universe's only companion, silent, infinite, and brimming with unseen potential. In the early universe, darkness was not emptiness in the conventional sense. It was an intricate web of forces and particles, invisible yet essential, where gravity pulled, quantum fluctuations trembled, and the seeds of stars and galaxies lay dormant. Imagine drifting through this vast, unlit expanse. The mind struggles to comprehend the scale, the silence, the total lack of familiar reference points. Yet within this darkness, possibilities are incubating, waiting for the spark that will birth illumination. Every point in the void carries potential, a quiet tension between what is and what might become. Contrasting light and darkness also reveals deeper truths about perception and existence. Light provides clarity and orientation, yet it blinds us to subtle realities that only darkness can frame. In shadow, forms are hinted at rather than fully revealed. Mysteries linger just beyond the edge of vision. This interplay is not just cosmic, it is psychological. Humans are drawn to light, yet our minds are equally fascinated by what hides in shadow. Darkness provokes fear, yes, but it also stirs awe, curiosity, and the imagination. It is in these shadowed spaces that some of the universe's most profound secrets reside, waiting to be discovered. The story of light and darkness is a story of contrast, a narrative tension that shapes everything from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy. Light reveals, darkness conceals. Light is transient, darkness is eternal. Light can be measured, yet darkness defies measurement. Through this lens, we begin to understand that darkness is not mere emptiness. It is a force, a primordial stage for the universe's drama. By studying the interplay between illumination and shadow, we uncover not only the mechanics of cosmic evolution but also the philosophical and emotional resonance of what it means to exist in a universe where light is not a given. This section bridges imagination with science, providing a cinematic canvas that illustrates how darkness and light coexist, interact, and shape our understanding of the cosmos. By blending visual imagery, scientific exploration, and philosophical reflection, we immerse the viewer in a universe where the absence of light is as meaningful as its presence. Every shadow, every unseen corner of space is alive with possibility, and the tension between what is revealed and what remains hidden drives both cosmic evolution and human curiosity. Darkness is not merely a prelude to light, it is a character in the story of existence, with depth, texture, and mystery. As we explore this delicate balance, viewers are invited to feel both the fear of the unknown and the awe of the universe's potential. It is this tension, the push and pull between revelation and concealment, that forms the heartbeat of our cosmic narrative. Darkness challenges us, teaches us, and ultimately prepares us for the arrival of light, making every photon that pierces the void all the more profound. By understanding darkness in its full complexity, we gain insight into the very essence of reality. The early universe, though invisible to our eyes, was alive with possibility, its unseen structures and forces setting the stage for everything that followed. This is a universe in which contrast defines meaning, where shadow frames significance, and where the absence of light is not emptiness but the fertile ground from which all illumination will eventually spring. Across the vast tapestry of human history, the question of how the universe began has fascinated thinkers, storytellers, and dreamers alike. Long before modern telescopes and particle accelerators, civilizations across the globe grappled with the same profound mystery. What existed before the first light? Ancient peoples, staring into the night sky, confronted darkness not merely as the absence of illumination, but as a living, enigmatic force. They wove stories and myths to give shape to the unknown, translating the incomprehensible void into narratives that reflected both fear and wonder. In Mesopotamia, for instance, creation myths spoke of chaotic waters and a primordial darkness from which the gods emerged, shaping the world into order. Darkness was not merely emptiness, it was the womb of creation, filled with potential and danger. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, the universe began in the dark, silent waters of Nun, a timeless void from which the first light, embodied by the sun god Ra, burst forth. The interplay between darkness and illumination was central to their understanding of life, death, and rebirth, highlighting a profound awareness that the absence of light is a condition both terrifying and sacred. Eastern philosophies also grappled with this paradox of pre-light existence. In Taoist thought, the cosmos originated from an undifferentiated void, a dark and infinite potential known as the Tao. From this stillness arose the duality of yin and yang, the cosmic dance between light and shadow that governs all natural phenomena. Ancient Indian cosmology envisioned cycles of creation and dissolution, with vast periods of darkness preceding the emergence of life and light. These philosophies reveal a universal truth. Humans have long perceived darkness not as mere emptiness, but as a vital, formative stage of existence, a space in which the seeds of reality could gestate unseen. What is remarkable is how these mythologies, though separated by continents and cultures, converge on similar themes. Darkness is not passive, it is an active force, mysterious yet generative, a realm that precedes order, life, and illumination. By framing darkness as both threatening and fertile, these ancient narratives captured a paradox that modern science continues to explore. The universe before light was not void in the conventional sense, but a dynamic, pregnant space filled with potential, energy, and invisible structures. This section also emphasizes the emotional resonance of pre-light darkness in human imagination. Myths and philosophies employed vivid imagery, swirling chaos, silent waters, infinite night, to evoke awe and fear, engaging the mind and the senses. They created a narrative bridge between the human experience and the cosmic unknown, allowing people to confront the enormity of existence in ways that science alone could not. By blending story, metaphor, and reflection, they framed darkness as both a source of anxiety and a catalyst for understanding, teaching early civilizations to respect the unknown while yearning to illuminate it. Through these ancient perspectives, we begin to see a consistent pattern. Darkness is the stage upon which creation unfolds. Whether imagined as cosmic waters, a formless void, or an infinite potential, pre-light darkness was universally recognized as the birthplace of existence. These early philosophies provide both a cultural lens and a narrative model for our cinematic exploration, illustrating how humanity has long sought to understand what lies beyond perception, what exists before illumination, and why the mystery of darkness continues to captivate us today. By revisiting these ancient insights, we not only honor the intellectual legacy of early civilizations but also establish a thematic bridge to modern scientific inquiry. The myths, though poetic and symbolic, resonate with the contemporary search for understanding the cosmos before light, the quantum shadows, primordial gases, and energetic forces that science now studies with precision. The emotional weight, narrative depth, and cinematic potential embedded in these philosophies make them a vital foundation for the story of the universe's earliest moments, when darkness reigned supreme and human imagination first reached for the light. Before the universe was bathed in light, it existed as a realm of profound darkness, a stage so vast and silent that the human mind can scarcely comprehend its immensity. Picture a cosmos where no stars pierced the void, where the black expanse stretched endlessly in every direction, unbroken and impenetrable. In this primordial darkness, time itself seemed fluid, a shadowy canvas on which the earliest forces of existence were already at work. Though invisible to our eyes, the universe was alive with motion and potential, a swirling, restless sea of energy and matter waiting for the spark that would ignite illumination. This was a universe dominated by forces we cannot see but whose fingerprints are etched into every particle and galaxy that would later form. Gravity tugged relentlessly at the primordial gases, condensing pockets of matter even in the absence of light. Quantum fluctuations whispered across the void, creating minute variations that would one day become the seeds of galaxies, stars, and planets. In this silent theater of creation, darkness was not passive, it was the backdrop and the sculptor, shaping the framework of reality with invisible hands. Every corner of this pre-light universe held tension, a delicate balance between chaos and the order that was yet to emerge. The concept of a universe before light challenges our perception of existence itself. Without photons traveling through space, without illumination to define boundaries, what did it mean for something to exist? Philosophers and scientists alike struggle with this question, for our understanding of reality is inextricably tied to what we can perceive. Yet, even in the absence of light, the cosmos was vibrant in ways our senses cannot directly detect. It was a universe defined not by what could be seen, but by the intricate interplay of energy, matter, and physical law, silent, invisible, yet profoundly real. Imagine drifting through this ancient darkness. Colossal clouds of gas and dust drift silently, destined to one day ignite into stars. The temperatures fluctuate, the pressure builds, and nascent structures begin to form. It is a time of tension and anticipation, of immense potential suspended in the void. Each fluctuation, each minute movement carries within it the possibility of life-giving illumination. The narrative of the universe before light is one of hidden drama, where forces collide and coalesce, creating patterns that are invisible yet inevitable, foreshadowing the dazzling emergence that is to come. This section also seeks to evoke emotional resonance alongside scientific understanding. The emptiness of pre-light darkness is simultaneously terrifying and beautiful. It challenges human intuition, evoking feelings of insignificance and wonder in equal measure. The viewer is drawn into a cinematic experience of the unseen, imagining a world where everything familiar is absent, replaced by a haunting void that brims with unspoken promise. Darkness here is both a literal and metaphorical space, a place of suspense, anticipation, and infinite possibility. By exploring the universe before light, we are invited to confront the raw essence of creation. The story emphasizes contrast, the silence of darkness versus the dynamic motion of matter, the emptiness that feels complete yet pregnant with potential. This is a universe waiting, suspended on the edge of illumination, where every fluctuation could become a star, every quantum ripple a galaxy. It is in this pre-light cosmos that the drama of existence begins, unseen and unobserved, yet foundational to everything that follows. Through this exploration, viewers gain a visceral sense of scale, tension, and wonder. The narrative frames darkness not as mere absence, but as an active, formative presence, a silent architect of reality. This section prepares the audience for the imminent emergence of light, building anticipation while deepening understanding, bridging the gap between mystery and revelation. In the shadows of the early cosmos, the stage is set for a story that will span billions of years, from silent darkness to the first glimmers of light, and ultimately to the universe as we know it today. Beneath the visible universe, in realms far too small for the naked eye, lies a hidden world that existed long before the first light pierced the cosmos. This is the quantum realm, a domain of flickering particles and fluctuating energy, where the ordinary rules of reality are replaced by uncertainty and probability. Before photons illuminated space, the universe was alive with these invisible motions, each minuscule event rippling outward to shape the destiny of galaxies, stars and planets yet to form. Darkness in this sense was not empty, it was dense with activity, a stage upon which the subtle and unseen forces of creation danced in silence. Quantum fluctuations, the minute variations in energy that permeated the early cosmos, were the unseen architects of structure. Imagine a silent, dark ocean where invisible currents twist and turn, imperceptible yet potent, moving the very fabric of reality. These tiny variations were amplified over time, creating the initial scaffolding upon which matter would eventually coalesce. What appears to us as empty darkness was, in fact, an intricate lattice of potential, a realm where the seeds of stars, galaxies, and even the basic elements of life were being carefully arranged, long before light itself could illuminate them. The building blocks of darkness were also shaped by subatomic particles, entities so small and fleeting that they defy human intuition. Electrons, quarks, and neutrinos flitted through the void, interacting in ways that determined the properties of the universe we see today. They moved in the shadows, invisible yet essential, orchestrating a silent symphony of creation. This is a cosmos where what cannot be seen carries more significance than what can, and where the most profound events occur in complete absence of illumination. The contrast between these hidden forces and the eventual radiance of light underscores the mysterious nature of existence, that what we perceive is only a fraction of reality, and that darkness holds the vast majority of the universe's secrets. The tension of this pre-light universe is palpable. Every quantum fluctuation carries within it the possibility of transformation. Particles collide and separate, energy condenses and dissipates, and unseen forces tug relentlessly at nascent structures. It is a realm of uncertainty, where chaos and order exist side by side, and where the potential for creation is matched only by the fragility of existence. The viewer is invited to imagine this invisible theater as a dark, humming space, vibrating with the possibilities that will one day burst into light and structure, yet remaining utterly alien and unknowable. This exploration also challenges our perception of time and scale. In the quantum world, events occur on timescales and distances that are almost incomprehensible. A single fluctuation can ripple across eons, shaping the universe long before a photon can travel its first meter. Darkness here is not merely passive. It is dynamic, interactive, and profoundly consequential. The cinematic tension arises from this hidden activity. A universe that appears still and empty is, in fact, teeming with the subtle movements that will eventually give birth to light and matter on a cosmic scale. By delving into the quantum shadows, we begin to understand that darkness is far more than a backdrop. It is an active participant in the universe's creation. It is in these unseen interactions that the rules of physics are first written, that order emerges from chaos, and that the possibility of light is planted. The audience is encouraged to feel both awe and unease, realizing that the very foundations of existence are built upon forces invisible to the eye, operating in a silence as profound as the void itself. Ultimately, this section frames darkness as both mystery and mechanism. It is terrifying in its invisibility and incomprehensibility, yet it is the womb from which all structure arises. The universe before light was a complex, dynamic, and unpredictable domain where every fluctuation mattered, every particle played a role, and every shadow carried the promise of illumination. Through vivid imagery, emotional resonance, and scientific insight, we guide viewers to appreciate that before there was light, there was a hidden world of quantum shadows, quietly orchestrating the birth of everything we will one day see. The universe as we know it began with a cataclysmic event so monumental that it defies ordinary comprehension: the Big Bang. Imagine an instant when all of existence, space, time, matter, and energy, was compressed into an infinitesimal point, a singularity dense beyond imagination. Then, in a moment of unimaginable force and brilliance, it exploded outward, setting the cosmos into motion and giving birth to the first traces of light. This was not merely the flick of a cosmic switch, it was the dramatic eruption of reality itself, a violent, magnificent unfolding that transformed nothingness into a universe teeming with possibility. In the earliest fractions of a second, the universe expanded faster than light could traverse it, inflating in size exponentially. Temperatures soared to unimaginable levels, so extreme that the familiar matter of stars, planets, and life could not yet exist. Instead, the cosmos was a searing plasma of fundamental particles, quarks and gluons colliding in a furious dance, generating energy and laying the groundwork for all subsequent structures. Light, in the form of high-energy photons, existed but could not yet move freely. The universe was opaque, a luminous fog in which illumination and darkness coexisted in tense, chaotic balance. The cinematic imagery of this era is staggering. Picture an endless expanse, glowing with violent bursts of energy, where particles collide with explosive force, forming the very building blocks of matter. Vast waves of energy ripple across space, stretching and bending the very fabric of reality. The drama of the Big Bang is not abstract. It is visceral, a moment of creation both terrifying in its power and awe-inspiring in its scale. Darkness has not yet vanished. It lingers as the background against which the first light struggles to emerge, highlighting the contrast between the unknown and the radiant. As expansion continued, the universe cooled just enough for particles to combine, forming the first protons, neutrons, and eventually the simplest atoms, primarily hydrogen and helium. These elements were the raw ingredients for the first stars, the first galaxies, and the cosmic structures that would one day give rise to life. The tension between light and darkness persisted, as photons were still trapped, bouncing endlessly off dense matter. The universe was alive with potential, a turbulent sea of energy and matter, waiting for the moment when light could finally travel freely and illuminate the vast cosmic stage. This section also emphasizes the emotional and philosophical resonance of the Big Bang. It is a story of both chaos and order, of creation emerging from nothing, and of light struggling to pierce the shadows of the nascent cosmos. Viewers are invited to feel the overwhelming scale and intensity, to sense the tension between destruction and formation, and to witness the birth of everything familiar in the universe. The narrative evokes awe, fear, and wonder, positioning the Big Bang not only as a scientific phenomenon but as a profound moment of cosmic drama. Through the lens of cinematic storytelling, the Big Bang becomes a visual and emotional spectacle. A universe in motion, an explosion of energy and possibility, a first step from darkness toward illumination. It frames the emergence of light as a gradual, dramatic victory over the void, underscoring the delicate interplay between shadow and radiance that continues to define the cosmos. The viewer is left with the sense that this primordial event was both violent and beautiful, setting into motion a story that would span billions of years, from the first flicker of photons to the dazzling galaxies we see today. Ultimately, the Big Bang represents the threshold between mystery and revelation. Darkness dominated the cosmos before this moment, yet within that darkness the potential for light and structure had already been encoded. With each expansion, each collision, each emerging particle, the universe moved closer to illumination, bridging the chasm between unseen forces and visible reality. This is the origin story of light itself, a narrative of explosive creation, infinite scale, and cosmic drama that marks the beginning of everything we will ever observe, explore, or imagine. Following the cataclysmic birth of the universe, an extraordinary and almost incomprehensible process took hold: cosmic inflation. In mere fractions of a second, the universe expanded exponentially, stretching space itself faster than the speed of light. Imagine an invisible hand pulling at the very fabric of reality, stretching infinitesimal quantum fluctuations into vast cosmic structures, enlarging the hidden scaffolding of the cosmos to scales that dwarf comprehension. During this fleeting moment, darkness and light coexisted in a delicate, tense balance. The universe was still largely opaque, yet the seeds of future illumination were embedded within these invisible stretches of space. The cinematic imagery of inflation is staggering, an endless expanse stretching outward in every direction, invisible yet vast, a dark canvas on which the first traces of structure are painted. Tiny fluctuations, once microscopic, are magnified across unimaginable distances, forming the blueprint for the galaxies, stars, and clusters that will emerge billions of years later. Darkness dominates the scene, yet within it, subtle hints of light and matter begin to take shape, foreshadowing the complex, radiant universe to come. The contrast between the immense black void and the nascent structures within it creates a tension that is both scientific and deeply cinematic, evoking a sense of awe at the scale and precision of cosmic evolution. This section also explores the hidden forces at work during inflation. Gravity, the subtle architect of cosmic structure, begins to exert its influence on the stretched fluctuations, guiding the formation of matter and shaping the contours of space itself. Dark energy, the mysterious driver of accelerated expansion, begins to assert its presence, a silent force expanding the void and defining the universe's destiny. Here, in the interplay between darkness and emergent structure, the cosmos demonstrates a paradoxical truth. Even in the absence of visible light, order begins to emerge from chaos, and the universe takes its first steps toward complexity. Emotionally, cosmic inflation evokes a tension between the incomprehensible and the intimate. Viewers are encouraged to feel the enormity of space being pulled outward, to imagine the imperceptible structures forming in the shadows, and to recognize the quiet drama unfolding beyond perception. Darkness is no longer mere emptiness. It is a dynamic arena, shaping and nurturing the universe's earliest potential. This tension between shadow and structure, void and possibility, mirrors human fascination with the unseen, a reminder that what is hidden often contains the greatest power and the deepest mysteries. The cinematic narrative here emphasizes contrast framing. Light is nascent and constrained, unable to escape the dense early universe, while darkness stretches infinitely, dominating every corner of reality. Yet this darkness is not passive, it is fertile, dynamic, and essential. Every unseen fluctuation, every amplified quantum ripple, carries within it the promise of illumination, the potential to become stars, galaxies, and ultimately, the cosmic phenomena that will fill the heavens with light. By visualizing the silent interplay of forces, the audience experiences the suspense, anticipation, and wonder of a universe still shrouded in shadow yet poised for brilliance. By the end of inflation, the universe has transformed in ways both dramatic and imperceptible. The tiny seeds embedded within the stretched fabric of space will guide the formation of all cosmic structures, setting the stage for the eventual release of light. Darkness remains dominant, but it is no longer uniform. It carries the imprints of nascent order, a hidden map of the universe's future. The story of inflation is one of paradox. Expansion within confinement, order within chaos, shadow as a precursor to radiance. This section bridges the gap between the universe's explosive birth and the first glimmers of light, emphasizing the hidden architecture that underlies all cosmic phenomena. Through cinematic imagery, scientific explanation, and emotional tension, viewers are immersed in a dark yet dynamic cosmos, witnessing the quiet orchestration that will soon allow photons to travel freely. Darkness, once absolute, is transformed into a canvas for creation, demonstrating that even in the absence of light, the universe is alive, evolving, and preparing for its first illumination. At last, the universe reached a pivotal moment, the emergence of the first photons, the earliest messengers of light struggling to escape the dense primordial fog. For hundreds of thousands of years, the cosmos had been opaque, a hot, chaotic plasma in which particles collided incessantly, scattering light and trapping it within. But as the universe continued to expand and cool, conditions shifted, allowing photons to travel freely for the first time. Imagine a vast, silent expanse suddenly pierced by the tiniest glimmers of illumination, photons scattering across the void, marking the dawn of visibility in a universe that had known only darkness. This moment, known as recombination, is both a scientific and cinematic marvel. Electrons paired with protons to form neutral hydrogen atoms, clearing a path for light to finally propagate. The cosmic stage transformed in an instant. The first light, faint yet persistent, began to outline the structures that had been forming unseen in the shadows. Immense clouds of gas, the invisible scaffolding of future galaxies, and the delicate ripples in the cosmic microwave background that still echo across the universe today. Darkness had not vanished. It lingered in the immense voids between emerging matter, creating a profound contrast between the first glimmers of radiance and the surrounding blackness. Cinematically, this scene is breathtaking. Imagine drifting through a universe where darkness dominates, yet suddenly tiny sparks of light ignite in the distance, hinting at the grand tapestry that will eventually unfold. Photons, once trapped in turbulence, now journey across space, carrying with them the earliest stories of cosmic evolution. These first photons are ancient travelers, silent witnesses to a universe in its infancy, bridging the gap between pre-light chaos and the structured cosmos to come. The interplay of shadow and illumination evokes both wonder and tension, as the cosmos remains largely dark, yet hints at the brilliance awaiting the distant future. The physics behind this event is as intricate as it is awe-inspiring. The liberation of photons transformed the universe from opaque to transparent, enabling energy to travel unimpeded and allowing the first impressions of matter and structure to manifest. This transparency was not uniform. Slight variations in density created patterns that would guide the formation of galaxies and clusters. Even now, billions of years later, the faint afterglow of these first photons, the cosmic microwave background, serves as a relic, a whisper of the universe's earliest light that continues to inform our understanding of cosmic history. Emotionally, the emergence of the first light carries immense significance. After eons of absolute darkness, the universe finally experienced a form of illumination. The tension between the enduring void and the newly liberated photons mirrors a narrative of hope emerging from uncertainty, of revelation breaking through mystery. It evokes awe, wonder, and a profound sense of continuity. The light that now travels across space has traversed the cosmos since its infancy, connecting the present universe to the primordial darkness from which it arose. Through contrast framing, the story emphasizes both what has emerged and what remains hidden. Light pierces the darkness, yet shadows dominate vast stretches of space. Illumination is fragile and nascent, yet it heralds the transformation of the cosmos. This interplay between shadow and light underscores the fragile, precarious beginnings of the universe, highlighting the drama inherent in the first glimmers of visibility. It is a moment of both revelation and suspense, as the stage is set for the formation of stars, galaxies, and the complex cosmic structures that will define the observable universe. By exploring the first photons, viewers are immersed in a universe caught between two extremes, lingering darkness and emergent light. This section conveys scale, drama, and anticipation, portraying the cosmos as both mysterious and becoming, where every photon carries the potential to illuminate the hidden structures of creation. Darkness is no longer absolute, yet it remains a dominant presence, framing the fragile beauty of early light and emphasizing the delicate balance that defines the universe's infancy. It is a cinematic tableau of emergence, a narrative of hope, and the beginning of the universe as a visible, structured, and comprehensible entity. The first light, though liberated, did not immediately bring clarity to the cosmos. Instead, it began a subtle and intricate dance with matter, shaping the universe in ways both visible and invisible. Photons scattered across space, interacting with the forming clouds of hydrogen and helium, gently nudging matter into the patterns that would become stars, galaxies, and clusters. Darkness persisted in the vast voids, creating a striking contrast. Illuminated regions began to emerge, yet immense shadows dominated much of the cosmic landscape. This interplay between light and matter reveals a universe in tension, a delicate balance between revelation and concealment that would define the evolution of structure on every scale. As the first atoms coalesced, the density variations within the primordial plasma, tiny ripples amplified over billions of years, guided matter toward the formations that would eventually birth stars. Light traced these invisible contours, highlighting the emerging structures while still being partially obscured by surrounding darkness. Imagine a cinematic scene where faint glimmers illuminate towering clouds of gas, casting long, deep shadows across the cosmic stage. The viewer is invited to witness the universe as a living sculpture, carved from the interplay of illumination and shadow, where each photon subtly orchestrates the arrangement of matter in ways that will shape the cosmos for eons to come. This section also delves into the duality inherent in cosmic evolution. Light is both revelatory and elusive, revealing structures while remaining unable to penetrate every corner of the universe. Darkness is not merely the absence of light, it is a vital framework within which structure emerges. Without the contrast of shadow, the subtle patterns that dictate the distribution of galaxies would be invisible, their significance hidden. The narrative tension lies in this contrast. Light brings discovery, but darkness preserves mystery, ensuring that even in the act of revelation, the universe retains its enigmatic qualities. Cinematically, the interaction of light and matter offers a wealth of vivid imagery. Massive clouds of primordial gas glow faintly as the first stars ignite within their cores, while neighboring regions remain shrouded in shadow. Gravity tugs at the illuminated matter, forming intricate filaments that stretch across vast distances, linking clusters of galaxies in an invisible cosmic web. The first photons, though weak compared to the brilliance of stars to come, act as guides and storytellers, tracing the unseen scaffolding of the universe and revealing the delicate choreography of cosmic formation. The science of this interplay is profound. Photons exert subtle pressure on matter, influencing the collapse of gas clouds and the formation of stellar nurseries. Regions of higher density attract more matter, while voids remain dark and sparsely populated. This feedback between light and matter establishes the large-scale structure of the universe, filaments, walls, and voids that define the cosmic web. Darkness, far from being passive, provides the necessary contrast that allows structure to emerge and be defined. Light and matter together create the observable universe, while the pervasive darkness frames it, emphasizing the vastness, complexity, and mystery that persist even as illumination spreads. Emotionally and philosophically, this interplay resonates with the human experience. Light represents knowledge, clarity, and discovery, while darkness embodies the unknown, the ungraspable, and the potential for future revelation. Just as early photons began to illuminate the universe, human curiosity seeks to penetrate the mysteries of existence. The tension between illumination and shadow mirrors our own pursuit of understanding. Every discovery reveals new patterns, yet simultaneously exposes new depths of mystery. By focusing on the interaction of light and matter, this section bridges the cosmic and the comprehensible, showing viewers that the universe's earliest structures are not random but guided by invisible forces and subtle interactions. Darkness remains dominant, yet light begins to shape the cosmos in profound ways. The narrative evokes awe, suspense, and wonder, emphasizing that every photon, every fluctuation of matter, carries significance in the grand tapestry of creation. The audience is invited to witness a universe alive with interplay, where illumination and shadow together sculpt the very fabric of reality, setting the stage for the emergence of stars, galaxies, and the breathtaking complexity of the cosmos to come. Even as the first light traveled freely across the cosmos, darkness retained its dominion, not merely as absence but as an invisible, commanding presence that continues to shape the universe. Long after photons began their journey, astronomers discovered that most of the universe remains hidden from direct observation, governed by forces and matter that neither emit nor reflect light. Dark matter, an elusive and mysterious substance, outweighs visible matter by nearly 5 times, creating the invisible scaffolding upon which galaxies and clusters form. It is a silent architect, unseen yet essential, a reminder that what we perceive is only a fraction of reality, and that darkness has always played a central role in cosmic evolution. Imagine floating through a cinematic landscape where galaxies spiral majestically, yet most of their mass lies hidden, unseen in the shadows. Dark matter exerts its gravitational pull silently, sculpting the distribution of stars and shaping the vast cosmic web. It binds galaxies together, guides the formation of clusters, and determines the large-scale structure of the universe. In contrast, luminous matter, the stars, planets, and interstellar gas we can see, forms intricate patterns highlighting the interplay between visible illumination and unseen darkness. This tension between the seen and the hidden deepens the mystery of existence, evoking awe and wonder as viewers grasp the profound scale of the unknown. Dark energy, an even more enigmatic force, adds another layer to this cosmic drama. Unlike dark matter, which shapes structure locally, dark energy drives the accelerated expansion of the universe, pushing galaxies apart and increasing the vastness of cosmic darkness. It is a pervasive, invisible pressure, a force that dominates the universe's energy budget and dictates its ultimate fate. Imagine a silent, unseen hand stretching the cosmic fabric, creating an ever-growing void, while tiny islands of light, galaxies and stars, drift further apart. The contrast is staggering, light clinging to structure, darkness expanding relentlessly, a tension that underpins the universe's evolution and hints at mysteries far beyond human comprehension. The science of dark matter and dark energy is not merely theoretical, it is profoundly cinematic. Invisible forces create visible consequences. Galaxies twist and bend under the weight of unseen mass, light warps as it passes through gravitational wells, and cosmic voids grow vast and empty. Darkness, in this sense, is active and dynamic, shaping the universe at every scale. The narrative evokes suspense and wonder, portraying a cosmos in which the familiar is only a fraction of reality, and where the hidden dominates both space and destiny. It is a reminder that mystery and revelation coexist, that the universe's grandeur is as much about what is unseen as what shines. Philosophically, the presence of dark matter and dark energy deepens the narrative of pre-light darkness. The universe, even after illumination, remains largely unknowable. Humans can perceive only a small fraction of existence, yet our understanding of the cosmos depends on these invisible forces. Darkness is not merely a stage for light, it is an actor, an architect, and a persistent reminder of the limits of perception. It challenges assumptions, provokes curiosity, and frames the universe as a realm of infinite possibility and hidden complexity. Emotionally, the realization that most of the cosmos remains unseen evokes both humility and awe. Viewers are drawn into a universe where what dominates is invisible, a place where shadow and light coexist in a perpetual dance. The cinematic contrast between luminous stars and the dark matter scaffolding emphasizes tension, mystery, and scale, evoking a sense of wonder at the unseen forces that govern existence. Darkness is no longer simply a backdrop. It is central to the narrative, a dynamic presence that shapes reality while remaining elusive, enigmatic, and profound. Through vivid imagery, scientific exploration, and philosophical reflection, this section portrays darkness as both mystery and mechanism. It is a universe where the unseen outweighs the seen, where invisible forces sculpt the cosmos, and where light exists within a vast framework of shadow. By understanding these hidden components, viewers gain insight into the universe's true complexity and the enduring significance of darkness in shaping everything we perceive. Here, mystery and knowledge intertwine, creating a cinematic tableau in which the unseen drives the drama, tension, and beauty of the cosmos. The universe, now threaded with light and shadow, began a slow and majestic process, the birth of the first stars. In the dark, cold voids between primordial gas clouds, gravity worked quietly yet relentlessly, pulling matter together in regions of slightly higher density. Over millions of years, these invisible concentrations grew, collapsing under their own weight, and igniting the first nuclear furnaces that would bring true illumination to the cosmos. The emergence of stars was not sudden. It was a delicate, almost cinematic crescendo, where light began to assert itself against the pervasive darkness, creating islands of brilliance in an otherwise shadowed universe. Imagine witnessing this cosmic awakening, clouds of hydrogen and helium coalescing, swirling and contracting, glowing faintly as nuclear fusion sparks ignite at their cores. Darkness still dominates the surrounding void, yet within these nascent stars, light is born, pushing against the shadows and altering the surrounding environment. These early stars, known as population 3 stars, were colossal, tens to hundreds of times more massive than our Sun, and burned with an intensity that is almost unimaginable. Their lives were brief but transformative, flooding the cosmos with the first heavy elements and setting the stage for planets, galaxies, and eventually life itself. The narrative of the first stars is one of contrast and tension. Darkness represents the uncertainty, the unknown, the vast spaces yet untouched by illumination. Stars symbolize emergence, transformation, and revelation. Their light scatters across the void, interacting with surrounding matter, triggering waves of star formation, and gradually lifting the cosmic fog. Cinematically, this interplay is awe-inspiring. Immense glowing spheres piercing inky blackness, illuminating gas clouds in brilliant blues and fiery oranges, and casting shadows that stretch across the cosmic stage. The viewer senses both the scale and the drama, the universe evolving in a delicate dance between shadow and radiance. These first stars also introduced the concept of cosmic feedback. Their intense radiation and stellar winds sculpted surrounding gas clouds, compressing some regions to ignite new stars while dispersing matter in others. When these massive stars reached the end of their short lives, they exploded as supernovae, seeding the universe with heavy elements necessary for planets, life, and the complex chemistry that defines existence as we know it. Darkness was pushed back locally, but globally, it remained dominant, a persistent reminder that illumination is fragile and fleeting in the vastness of space. The tension between light and dark became a central theme of cosmic evolution, a narrative of both creation and impermanence. Philosophically, the birth of the first stars represents hope emerging from obscurity. In a universe dominated by darkness for billions of years, these luminous beacons symbolize the power of small forces to reshape the cosmos. Light conquers shadow not instantly, but incrementally, through persistence and interaction with the surrounding environment. The story mirrors human understanding itself. The pursuit of knowledge, like the birth of stars, is gradual, building upon subtle interactions and small sparks that eventually illuminate vast realms previously hidden in obscurity. Emotionally, the first stars inspire awe, wonder, and humility. Viewers are drawn into a universe that is at once alien and familiar, where immense forces operate on scales far beyond human comprehension, yet their consequences shape the very conditions for life and consciousness. Darkness frames the brilliance of starlight, amplifying its significance and creating a narrative tension that is both dramatic and cinematic. Each star becomes a character in the unfolding story of the universe, a symbol of emergence, transformation, and the fragile beauty of illumination against an ever-present void. Through vivid imagery, scientific explanation, and philosophical reflection, this section portrays the first stars as pivotal agents in the cosmic narrative. They transform darkness into light, create complexity from simplicity, and lay the foundations for galaxies, planets, and life. The contrast between the pervasive void and these luminous pioneers underscores the tension between mystery and revelation, chaos and order, absence and illumination. In this cinematic tableau, viewers experience the awe-inspiring birth of stars not merely as a scientific event, but as a profound moment of cosmic drama, where light begins to claim its place in a universe long dominated by shadow. The earliest stars, fierce and short-lived, did more than illuminate the darkness. They reshaped the universe in ways dramatic, violent, and beautiful. Their light pushed back the ancient fog, burning trails through the hydrogen clouds that dominated the cosmos. Yet this illumination was temporary. Their fiery lives ended quickly, exploding with unimaginable force. These supernovae did not merely perish, they created. Their death throes seeded the universe with heavier elements, the raw ingredients that would become planets, oceans, mountains, and eventually the chemical foundations of life. In their destruction, the cosmos gained the potential for complexity, a transformation that would not have been possible in a universe composed solely of hydrogen and helium. Their story is one of radiant creation and cataclysmic rebirth, where darkness and explosion together brought structure to a quiet, newborn universe. Cinematically, these detonations are extraordinary to imagine. Picture the silent blackness, a lone, massive star burning blue-white in the void. Suddenly, its core collapses, its outer layers rip free, and a fantastical light erupts, brighter than an entire galaxy. The explosion expands in all directions, sending shockwaves through already forming cosmic clouds. These waves compress gas in distant regions, helping trigger the birth of new stars, simultaneously destroying and creating. It is nature's most dramatic paradox: annihilation as genesis, obliteration as transformation. If the darkness before was a patient canvas, these supernovae splashed the first vivid strokes of elemental color across its surface. The heavy elements forged in these cosmic furnaces were radically new to the universe. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, silicon, iron, elements that would eventually compose everything from the iron in blood to the rocks beneath oceans, first emerged from these stellar crucibles. Before these stars, such complexity did not exist. The cosmos was uniform, simple, lacking diversity. Now, tiny grains of potential drifted across the void, settling into the gravitational fields of new stars and planets yet to form. Each particle carried within it the memory of the explosion that created it, the heat of fusion that transformed base elements into substances capable of forming life. Darkness cradled these particles, allowing them to gather slowly, silently into worlds. The emotional tone of this chapter is wonder intertwined with solemnity. These stars lived short lives by cosmic standards, millions not billions of years. Yet in that small span, they accomplished what would define the course of all future existence. Their brilliance was brief but necessary, their destruction was violent but generous. As their remains spread into the dark, they prepared the universe for a new era, one in which light no longer stood alone, but where matter itself carried the potential for complexity. This is the drama of contrast framing at its most compelling. Brightness meets void, creation follows eradication, complexity rises from simplicity. Where previously the universe had been dominated by invisibility, dark matter shaping structure, faint photons tracing shadowy outlines, now came the stage on which galaxies would grow. The debris from ancient stars fell into gravitational wells, collecting into swirling disks. Over eons, these disks spawned new generations of stars, smaller and longer-lived than their predecessors. These newer stars carried heavier elements, allowing orbiting planets to form in stable bands of warmth. Systems began to evolve, steady and intricate. What had once been a universe of dark and sparse hydrogen was becoming populated with organized, dynamic families of stars, galaxies. But this transformation began with the death of those first giants, whose final acts created the environment necessary for everything that followed. The narratives contained within these early explosions also carry philosophical depth. They speak of cycles, of birth, death, and rebirth. Each star, no matter how bright, eventually succumbs to gravity's inevitable pull. Yet the collapse becomes the mechanism of renewal. It is a reminder that endings are not merely finales, they are catalysts. Darkness receives the shattered remnants and holds them until new structures emerge. In this sense, destruction is not antagonistic to creation but intertwined. The star's explosions resemble a cosmic lesson, that the universe thrives not on static existence, but on transformation driven by both illumination and darkness. From a scientific perspective, This era marks the beginning of enrichment. Before these supernovae, galaxies could not exist in the form we know. Stars lacked building blocks for rocky worlds, atmospheres, and the complex chemistry we associate with life. When these ancient giants erupted, they distributed such materials through turbulent clouds of gas. Over millions of years, gravity collected these resources into new formations. Small clumps became stars, larger clumps became galaxies. Inside these galaxies, matter concentrated further, forming spiral arms, dense cores, and vast halos. Darkness shaped these forms, providing unseen mass that guided structure, while the enriched gas radiated potential. Visually, imagine the cosmos transitioning from soft shadows into a landscape of glowing islands adrift in an ocean of black. Galaxies shimmer like luminous whirlpools, each one a dance of dust and stars. Their shapes spiral gracefully, but the vast darkness around them remains, untouched and limitless. Within the galaxies, nebulae burst with color, fiery reds, deep blues, violet clouds stretched across millions of light years. These dazzling displays, however, belied their violent origins, the remnants of stellar detonation and collapse. Each nebula is a monument to a star that once blazed fiercely, an echo of its light carried into new generations. The tension between shadow and radiance here is profound. Galaxies congregate in clusters, connected by faint bridges of dark matter, while enormous voids stretch between them. These voids remain deep and silent, vast enough to swallow thousands of galaxies with ease. Yet the clusters glow defiantly, tiny sparks in the expanse. In those sparks reside all future stories: the birth of stars, the shaping of planets, the emergence of life. Each galaxy is a cradle of potential, organized within the unseen framework constructed by dark matter, animated by the remains of ancient stars. Darkness, far from being eradicated, remains dominant, yet light has begun to claim pockets of permanence. Philosophically, the emergence of galaxies speaks to a universal balance. It shows how the interplay of forces, gravity, fusion, collapse, explosion, creates order within chaos. It mirrors themes of identity and evolution. The cosmos is not static but becoming. The galaxies that now fill space were forged from the remnants of earlier generations. Their structure depends on the invisible hand of dark matter, their brilliance on the alchemy of exploding stars. They are symbols of persistence, a testament to how light, though small in proportion, defines so much of what we seek to understand. Emotionally, the formation of galaxies evokes awe and subtle melancholy. These structures are breathtaking, swirling families of light bound together by unseen forces. Yet they emerge from death and destruction, from the collapse of the very stars that first made illumination possible. They embody the paradox of existence, that beauty can arise from violence, order from chaos, meaning from transition. The mind is drawn to the scale of these processes. Each galaxy contains billions of stars, each star capable of influencing its surroundings, and yet all of it exists within a universe still overwhelmingly dark. The contrast intensifies the emotional impact, reminding us that illumination is precious, fragile, and always framed by shadow. Galactic formation also sets the stage for environments where complexity can deepen. Within spiral arms, clouds of enriched gas contract to form new stars with planetary systems. Some planets orbit at precise distances that allow warmth and stability. Elsewhere, worlds freeze in darkness or roast in proximity to their suns. Over millions of years, chemical reactions on certain planets might give rise to molecules that replicate, evolve, and respond to their environment. But all of this potential, all future life, intelligence, civilization, depends on the supernovae that long ago seeded the universe with the necessary elements. Without those explosions, the universe might have remained a simple, dim expanse, lacking diversity, lacking the chemistry of existence. In this way, the first stars, though long extinguished, are still present. Their ashes form the iron in every heartbeat, the calcium in every bone, the oxygen in every breath. Their deaths provided the materials from which galaxies grew, planets spun, and life eventually emerged. Within every living thing is the memory of these ancient explosions, carried quietly through time. Darkness nurtured this legacy, protecting the fragments until they could become part of something new. Thus, the story of the universe at this stage is one of quiet triumph. Light has not conquered darkness, it could not. But illumination has gained permanence, carving out regions where structure flourishes. Galaxies spin like cosmic cities, each one with its own history, its own future. The darkness between them remains vast, but within each swirling cluster, photons dance, matter gathers and time shapes new forms. This phase stands as a turning point in the cosmic narrative. The foundational elements are in place. The interplay between destruction and creation is established. From the ashes of the first stars arise the structures that will host all future history. Darkness continues to rule the majority, but within it, pockets of luminous potential grow. The universe becomes recognizable, not just a sea of particles but a landscape of structure and promise. Nebulae are the poems of the universe, vast, luminous clouds suspended within oceans of darkness, where color, chemistry and gravity combine to compose the next chapter of cosmic creation. After ancient stars enriched the void with heavy elements, these remnants began gathering into titanic structures, nebulae. Some were quiet nurseries, others were violent, shaped by shockwaves of supernovae. At first glance, they appeared delicate, soft as watercolor strokes brushed across space. Yet these clouds stretch for hundreds of light years, dense enough to birth thousands of stars, turbulent enough to shake entire systems into existence. They glitter from within, illuminated by infant stars whose earliest cries are flashes of ultraviolet radiance echoing through the dust. These nebulae mark the beginning of true artistry in the cosmos, where darkness serves not only as canvas but as catalyst. Inside them, new stars form slowly and secretly. Gravity works patiently, pulling gas and dust into tighter knots. These knots spin, heat, and compress, their centers glowing brighter as they near ignition. Billions of years after the first stars exploded, these nebulae began crafting diverse new generations, smaller, more stable, and richer in heavy elements. Their births are invisible from afar, hidden within thick, dark cocoons, but when they ignite, their light breaks free with triumphant clarity. The surrounding clouds react dramatically, gas ionizes, dust scatters like charcoal in wind, and structures resembling cosmic pillars, fingers, and wings emerge, carved by radiation and stellar wind. In the grand darkness of space, nebulae feel like whispers of potential. Some are bright and electric, like the Orion Nebula glowing in violet hues. Others remain pitch black, blocking starlight behind them. These contrast one another sharply, shaded mystery pressed against vibrant revelation. This interplay heightens tension. Will these shadows produce new light or remain still, cold, and quiet? The emotional effect, even through scientific explanation, is powerful. Nebulae are both womb and tomb, places where stars are born and where stellar corpses leave their shrouds behind. Here, every particle holds memory from a previous existence, a cycle sustained across cosmic time. Darkness is essential in these regions. Without the cold of shadowed space, matter could never collapse to ignite. Light attempts to disperse gas, to erode the very clouds that make new stars possible. Darkness, in contrast, shelters and cools the nebular nurseries, allowing gravity to do its work. In cinematic terms, darkness becomes the nurturing force while light becomes both midwife and destroyer, revealing what is within even as it reshapes it. The emotional resonance lies in this contradiction. Illumination is necessary for birth, yet also threatens to end it. The nebula must balance the quiet pressure of gravity against the fierce radiation of newborn stars. Within this crucible, swirling disks of dust and ice form around igniting stars. These protoplanetary disks are thin yet enormous, spanning billions of kilometers, and they are the raw material from which planets will emerge. Here, collisions are constant. Tiny grains stick together. Some shatter, others survive. Over millions of years, these particles snowball into asteroids, comets, and eventually planets. Imagine this process as a cosmic orchestra, each collision a note, each accumulation a rising harmony. The music builds invisibly, guided by unseen hands. Only when the structures become worlds does the symphony reveal its melody. The diversity of these environments is astonishing. Some disks contain abundant elements, forming rocky worlds with iron cores. Others accumulate thick atmospheres of hydrogen and helium, becoming gas giants. Still others never stabilize, scattered by nearby stars, consumed by their parents, or ejected into interstellar exile. Each outcome is determined by precise balances: mass, distance, temperature, and time. Darkness watches steadily, preserving the quiet against which these chaotic transformations occur. If the canvas of space were fully lit, nothing could cool enough to form. Thus, the story remains one of interplay. Creation thrives only when shadow and flame remain in balance. Emotionally, the formation of worlds invites wonder, humility, and curiosity. The dust beneath our feet once drifted through space as nebular grain. The oxygen we breathe once formed in the core of a dying star. To look at a nebula is to witness the earliest memory of every life form, a glimpse into what existed before form itself. The viewer senses this continuity, feeling both small and deeply connected. The dark beauty of these clouds evokes both serenity and mystery, a gentle reminder that creation often begins in silence, hidden from the eye. Some nebulae are born from death. When massive stars explode, their outer layers rush outward, painting the darkness in expanding rings and filaments. These supernova remnants glow with eerie light, energized by shockwaves moving at incredible speeds. They resemble cosmic ghosts, remnants of lives burned bright. Yet even in this destruction, potential is born. Elements scatter, rejoining the nebular medium, adding complexity to future stars and planets. The death of one star becomes the lifeblood of another. The universe's narrative is circular. Its characters, though temporary, contribute to a story far larger than themselves. Other nebulae form without violence. Quiet gravitational interactions pull gas together over hundreds of millions of years. These gentle clouds remain cold and dark for ages, invisible except where nearby stars backlight their shapes. These dark nebulae, the Horsehead Nebula, the Coal Sack, look empty. But they are brimming with potential. They are the negative spaces of the universe, holding secrets that only time reveals. In philosophical terms, they represent hidden potential, the waiting period before realization. They remind us that absence is not always empty, sometimes it is preparation. As these regions evolve, galaxies themselves begin to take on distinctive identities. Some become graceful spirals, rich in nebulae and star formation. Others form as dense, chaotic ellipticals, where most gas has been consumed or dispersed. Spirals, with their bright arms, are more than beautiful. They are engines of creation, fueled by cycles of star birth and death. Within their swirling bands, molecular clouds gather, collapse, ignite, and explode, each cycle adding to the richness of their environment. Ellipticals, in contrast, are quiet and ancient, populated by old stars with little gas left to form new ones. Their stories are of memory rather than potential. The contrast between these galactic forms deepens the emotional storytelling. Some galaxies are vibrant canvases of change, others are grand libraries, holding the archives of earlier epochs. The cosmic web tying these galaxies together remains mostly invisible, supported by dark matter filaments. These filaments guide nebulae, gas flows, and galaxies into large-scale patterns, walls, clusters, and superclusters. In this sense, nebulae are not isolated. They are nodes within a vast network, responding to gravitational whispers from across millions of light-years. Light and dust fill these nodes, but darkness defines their architecture. The duality continues. Illumination marks where matter resides, shadow reveals the structure that holds it in place. Visually, imagine drifting through a luminous nebula, witnessing pillar-like towers sculpted by starlight. The gas seems solid yet is fragile. A spaceship could pass through without resistance. Beneath the glow, darkness clings. It shapes the edges, defines the curves, sustains the cold. Throughout these regions, new light emerges, while deeper shadows conceal nascent stars still forming. Every direction offers tension. What is revealed stands against what is hidden. Scientifically, this stage is crucial for building chemical diversity. Elements like carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, and complex organic molecules form in nebular clouds. Some cling to dust, others freeze onto comets. When planets coalesce, these compounds become part of their crusts and atmospheres. The chemistry that begins here eventually becomes biology elsewhere. Thus, nebulae are not only cradles for stars, but alchemical laboratories crafting the ingredients of life. Without them, the universe would shine but remain barren. Emotionally, this realization deepens appreciation for the universe's quiet ingenuity. Nebulae demonstrate how beauty emerges from chaos, how light collaborates with darkness, and how ancient memory becomes future possibility. Their existence inspires awe, not just for their brilliance but for their patience. They hold stories of centuries waiting to pass them forward. In the end, nebulae mark a turning point in the cosmic timeline. They transform the heavy ashes of early stars into the first true temples of creation, places where stars are born in multitudes, where planets form, where building blocks of life collect. Darkness plays guardian, light plays sculptor. Together, they craft the environments from which future complexity will emerge. This interplay of shadow and flame forms the heart of cosmic evolution, a narrative that resonates emotionally and philosophically. Nebulae embody both the fragility and resilience of creation, standing as testimony to the universe's drive toward ever-growing diversity. The story of darkness before light continues here, not as absence but as partner. It shelters, cools, and shapes. The light that enters does not erase it. Instead, both forces combine to form the intricate balance upon which everything else depends. In these nebular realms, the universe learns to build, gather, experiment, and dream. They are the quiet, glowing archives of what came before, and the laboratories of what is yet to come. The cosmic battleground of light and darkness did not end with the emergence of the first galaxies. Instead, it entered an even more intricate and violent chapter. As clusters of galaxies swirled together under the irresistible pull of gravity, the universe witnessed the formation of colossally massive structures, filaments stretching millions of light-years, where dark matter, gas, and starlight braided into a kind of celestial web. This was a realm where darkness was not merely an absence of illumination, but an architecture, an invisible framework determining where matter gathered and where voids would remain empty for eternity. Galaxies glowed like lanterns strung along unseen threads, revealing the cosmic scaffold that had shaped them. At the heart of many young galaxies, enormous gravitational monsters began to stir. These were supermassive black holes, objects so dense that not even light could escape their pull. Their presence deepened the mystery of cosmic darkness, for they embodied both extremes. Infinite shadow contained within regions where matter moved at nearly the speed of light. These black holes consumed gas and dust, warping spacetime itself and spinning violently. Yet paradoxically, they could also shine. As material spiraled inward, it heated to unimaginable temperatures, creating brilliant accretion disks that outshone entire galaxies. Light and darkness were no longer simple opposites. They were entangled. The contrast was breathtaking. When one gazed across the developing universe, one might see serene glowing spirals rotating gracefully, while nearby, blazing quasars erupted like cosmic engines. Some regions remained untouched by this brilliance, blanketed in an eerie stillness. There, matter drifted silently, waiting. Elsewhere, turbulence reigned. Gravitational tides ripped stars from their galactic homes, flinging them into the void like sparks from a bonfire. Every moment was violent creation. Every second a revelation. This age was defined by chaos and order in constant interplay. Galaxies collided with galaxies, merging into titanic structures that took billions of years to settle. With each collision, stars were born, flung into new orbits, and sometimes shredded by tidal forces. But this chaos served a deeper purpose. It fueled growth. As galaxies merged, their central black holes often merged as well, forming even larger gravitational titans that reshaped the surrounding cosmos. Darkness deepened, yet so too did illumination. Creation and destruction wove together like threads of a cosmic tapestry. Astronomers call this period the cosmic noon, a time when star formation was at its peak. The universe blazed with activity. Nebulae glowed from within, dust fields glittered, and gas clouds bloomed into dense stellar nurseries. If one could drift through these regions, they would witness colossal pillars of gas illuminated by youthful stars, fiery jets bursting from infant suns, and shockwaves rippling across the void. These were scenes of beauty born from turmoil. The universe, still young, was learning how to build complexity out of chaos. Yet with every spark of creation came a shadow. Regions stripped of their gas became dark, starless havens dominated by invisible matter. Some galaxies became quiescent, silent relics drifting through the universe, their stellar furnaces extinguished. Others fell into the gravitational embrace of larger neighbors, losing their identity in slow cosmic cannibalism. Darkness was both predator and refuge. This epoch also redefined the purpose of matter. Heavy elements forged in the hearts of stars and released by supernovae began to accumulate. Carbon, oxygen, iron, names that today define life and industry, were scattered into the universe. These elements seeded future generations of stars and planets. Darkness no longer merely harbored mystery, it now held potential. The building blocks of rocky worlds, oceans, and atmospheres drifted through the void, waiting for new homes in evolving systems. In many ways, this cosmic era resembled an orchestra tuning itself. The instruments were galaxies and dark matter halos. The sheet music was the law of gravity. The conductor was time. From the interplay of forces and the collisions of structures, a grand symphony arose, shaping the universe into something more complex than the simple uniformity that came before. Each collision was a note. Each merger was a chord. And each burst of starlight pushed back against the ancient darkness, revealing more of the cosmic score. Observing this transformation evokes a deep emotional response. There is a visceral beauty in the delicate filaments connecting galaxy clusters like threads of spider silk, nearly invisible yet undeniably real. These structures speak to the unseen, matter we cannot detect with our eyes, but which governs the motion of everything we do see. This invisible presence is not malevolent, it is foundational. It offers a reminder that the most powerful forces are often the ones we cannot perceive directly. But alongside this wonder lies fear. The colossal power of black holes confronts us with the most extreme manifestation of darkness. They are regions of no return where time and space dissolve. The edge of a black hole, the event horizon, marks the boundary between being and non-being, between light's final cry and eternal silence. Imagining a sun-sized star collapsing into such a point forces us to grapple with the fragility of matter and the impermanence of form. What does it mean that the universe contains places where reality breaks down? Philosophers and scientists alike wrestle with these questions. Black holes challenge our understanding not only of physics but of existence. They distort causality, warp spacetime, and embody paradox. Are they destructive termination points, or gateways to deeper layers of reality? Some theories speculate that black holes might give rise to new universes, budding off like cosmic seeds. If so, darkness might not be an ending but a beginning. During this era, the universe became a theater of extremes. The dance between light and darkness took on new dimensions. Illumination was born from violent collapse. Shadows deepened in the aftermath of brilliance. The brightest objects in the cosmos, quasars, arose near the darkest hearts. Planets coalesced in dusty rings of light around infant stars, while rogue worlds wandered in perpetual night between galaxies. These contrasts gave the universe texture, depth, and narrative. Even the large-scale structure of the universe amplified this duality. Vast voids, regions nearly empty of galaxies, spanned hundreds of millions of light-years. They were cosmic deserts, cold and silent. Between them stretched the cosmic web, glowing faintly with starlight and dark matter. Traveling from void to filament would be like crossing an ocean of silence to reach a shoreline of brilliance. The universe was not uniform, it was dramatic geography on a scale beyond imagination. As time progressed, the universe cooled further. Star formation slowed. The wild turbulence of early mergers mellowed into quieter evolution. Galaxies settled into familiar forms. Spirals with elegant arms, ellipticals with soft halos, irregulars scattered like cosmic dreams. The extreme birth pangs of the cosmos gave way to gradual growth. But the legacy of that chaos remained imprinted in every star, every atom, every patch of darkness. This legacy invites reflection. Without the violence of black hole accretion and galaxy mergers, the elements necessary for planets and life might never have spread. Without turbulence, beauty would not have emerged. Darkness and light were not enemies, they were partners engaged in a creative struggle. Each relied on the other to sculpt the universe into what it would become. Emotionally, this epic inspires awe and humility. We are products of its processes. The iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones, the oxygen we breathe, all were forged in stars that lived and died billions of years ago. Their luminous triumph over darkness is written into our biology. Yet the darkness remains, surrounding us, reminding us that there is more to the story than what light alone can show. As the universe approached maturity, it carried with it a memory of its contrasting past. Darkness had guided structure, light had revealed it. Together they composed a cosmic narrative that continues to unfold, drawing us deeper into the mystery of our origins and our place in the vast expanse. In this maturing cosmos, the relationship between darkness and light became not only physical but metaphorical. Ancient civilizations, billions of years later, would look to the night sky and see these distant galaxies as tiny specks, unaware of the colossal drama that shaped them. Humans would give names to constellations, weaving myths that echoed the balance of shadow and radiance witnessed on a cosmic scale. These stories mirrored the universe's earliest narratives. Heroes emerging from obscurity, gods forged from chaos, and destinies written in stars. As telescopes advanced, humanity's vision sharpened. We learned to read the faintest whispers of ancient light, peering back in time to glimpse galaxies from this very era. We discovered that supermassive black holes seem to reside at the heart of nearly every large galaxy. Their existence is a cosmic riddle. How could such massive objects form so quickly after the universe began? Theories multiply. Some suggest primordial black holes born in the first instant of creation. Others propose runaway collapse triggered by dense stellar clusters. The truth remains veiled, hidden behind the event horizons of these cosmic enigmas. In this sense, darkness served as both womb and tomb. It birthed galaxies by shaping their gravitational frameworks, offering refuge for matter to gather. Yet it also consumed, devouring stars, erasing light and sending gravitational ripples across spacetime. These ripples, gravitational waves, traveled unhindered through the universe, carrying stories of collision and merger. Billions of years later, humanity would detect these waves, catching echoes of this ancient dance. This era then was not merely a transitional phase, it was the crucible of complexity. The interplay of black holes, stars, and cosmic filaments set the stage for everything to come. It demonstrated that contrast is essential, creation requires destruction, order arises from chaos, and illumination gains meaning only when shadow defines its boundary. In the grand scheme, this interplay revealed a deeper truth: the cosmos thrives on balance. Too much light and matter disperses. Too much darkness and structure collapses without form. Between the two lies a narrow corridor where stars, planets, and life can emerge. This balance echoed across scales, from the orbit of electrons around nuclei to the rotation of galaxies around invisible dark cores. Even now, as we gaze across the night sky, we witness the legacy of this era. The faint glow of distant galaxies tells us that the universe remains dynamic, still changing, still guided by the forces born in that era of violent mergers. Meanwhile, vast swaths of darkness beckon, filled with mysteries yet unsolved. They remind us that for every revelation, there is an unanswered question. For every burst of light, a shadow remains. Though billions of years have passed, the contrast of that age continues to shape our quest for understanding. We build observatories, launch space telescopes, and develop theories, not only to study the light but to interpret the darkness from which it emerged. And in doing so, we discover that the story is far from over. The cosmic dance continues, inviting us to follow its rhythm into the future. In every direction, the silent testimony of that formative age lingers. Each photon that reaches us, each gravitational whisper we detect, carries hints of ancient struggles between illumination and obscurity. The universe remembers, and through science and imagination, we strive to read those memories, seeking not only to understand what happened, but to find our place within the eternal dialogue between darkness and light, forever bound. The universe, though vast and ancient by this point, had only begun to express its deeper and more intimate potential. After the cosmic violence of starbursts, black hole mergers and galactic collisions, the stage became quiet enough for subtlety to emerge. The heavy elements scattered across space by supernovae, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, silicon, and iron, began to gather in cooler pockets of gas and dust. Here, away from the chaos, nature took a slower, more deliberate breath. This was the moment when worlds formed, small, fragile spheres suspended in the cosmic dark, each a delicate echo of ancient explosions. Within these dusty nurseries, microscopic grains collided, stuck together, and grew. Over millions of years, these grains became pebbles, then rocks, then world-sized spheres. Gravity sculpted planets with gentle persistence, binding their matter into stable forms. No longer merely stars and gas clouds, the universe developed landscapes: molten cores, volcanic plains, icy oceans, and rocky mountains. Every planet carried a unique story, some scorched and barren, others frozen beneath eternal night, and a precious few balanced delicately between extremes. Darkness held these worlds in its silent embrace, offering both shelter and isolation. Amidst this planetary diversity, the most consequential world for our narrative emerged: Earth. In the soft blue haze of our atmosphere, light and darkness conspired to create a miracle. The young Earth was violent, seas of magma, relentless meteor strikes, and a sky of sulfurous clouds. But as it cooled, oceans formed. Vast waters spread beneath clouded skies, and lightning split the darkness, igniting chemical reactions that would change everything. In hidden corners, deep ocean vents or shallow tidal pools, simple molecules assembled into complex chains. These chains began to copy themselves, driven by heat, minerals, and chance. Life, in its most primitive form, was born within darkness. Tiny organisms lived beneath protective surfaces, shielded from the harsh radiation above. They fed on chemical gradients, not sunlight. This origin reminds us that illumination is not always a prerequisite for creation. Sometimes, the most profound beginnings happen far from the reach of starlight, tucked into shadows where change can unfold in silence. Only later would these early organisms learn to harness the power of light, developing photosynthesis and filling the atmosphere with oxygen. Darkness came first, light came later. This partnership between light and dark shaped the destiny of every living thing. Light offered energy, darkness offered refuge. Photosynthetic life flooded the oceans with oxygen, transforming the atmosphere and enabling more complex organisms to evolve. Yet each species carried the memory of darkness, seeking shelter in caves, burrows, and the deep sea. Evolution became a dialogue between illumination and shadow, a dance of adaptation. Creatures developed eyes to capture light, yet many others thrived without it. Plants turned sunlight into food, while fungi feasted in the dark. Predators stalked beneath the moon, and prey hid in night's embrace. On land, the story intensified. Forests rose beneath the sun, while deserts simmered beneath relentless glare. Mountains reached into thin, icy air, and valleys collected moisture where life clung stubbornly. The earth became a theater of contrasts. Heated days and frozen nights, fertile rivers and barren plains, lush jungles and silent tundras. Each ecosystem embodied a balance that echoed the cosmic dance. Too much light scorched. Too much darkness froze. Survival required harmony, a delicate equilibrium between the two. In the oceans, life discovered depths where sunlight never penetrated. These realms, thousands of meters beneath the surface, were swallowed in perpetual blackness. Yet against all intuition, they teemed with life, strange, glowing creatures illuminated by bioluminescence. Their bodies carried light within, creating small galaxies in the abyss. Here, darkness was not an absence but a canvas, decorated by signals, flashes and glimmers that communicated hunger, warning, and desire. These creatures used light not to banish darkness, but to navigate within it. Their existence whispered a deeper cosmic truth. Light is not always an enemy of shadow. Sometimes it is its most elegant companion. Over billions of years, life flourished. From tiny cells came multicellular organisms, then complex animals, then creatures that walked, flew, and swam. Dinosaurs ruled for ages before giving way to mammals. Yet every evolutionary step carried with it the legacy of cosmic origins. The stars that forged atoms in their cores, the darkness that sheltered early chemistry, the light that fueled growth. The boundaries between physics, chemistry, and biology dissolved into a single continuum. We are not merely inhabitants of the universe, we are expressions of its most intimate processes. Eventually, a species emerged that could wonder. Humans stood beneath the night sky and felt both awe and fear. They looked at the stars and sensed a connection, though they did not yet know its nature. Firelight cast shadows against cave walls, revealing the beginnings of science, myth, and art. Darkness became a symbol of mystery. Light became a symbol of knowledge. The duality that shaped the cosmos now lived within the human mind. In every ancient culture, stories formed to explain this balance. Gods of night, gods of dawn. Creation myths where light emerged from primordial darkness. The universe's earliest drama retold in human language. As humanity advanced, so did its tools. We learned to harness fire, then electricity, then starlight itself through telescopes. We began to understand the cosmic conditions that made life possible. The narrow band where planets can host liquid water, the importance of stable orbits, the role of chemical elements born in stellar furnaces. We discovered that Earth is not the center of creation but one world among countless others. This realization expanded our imagination dramatically. If life emerged here, under the delicate balance of light and dark, could it not also emerge elsewhere? Astronomers began searching distant stars for exoplanets. They discovered worlds with twin suns, planets hidden in eternal eclipse, and giants locked so tightly to their stars that one side burned while the other froze. Some worlds rested peacefully in habitable zones. Others teetered on the edge. With each discovery, our understanding of cosmic potential deepened. Darkness, once feared as empty, became recognized as fertile territory, a place where distant worlds waited to be found. Yet even as scientific knowledge advanced, the emotional tension remained. Human beings continued to look into the night and feel both wonder and insignificance. The universe seemed indifferent to our existence. And yet, within our bodies, the atoms carried stories of distant stars. We were children of both light and darkness. The iron in our blood came from supernovae. The water in our veins formed in ancient nebulae. The spark of life ignited in primordial darkness. The duality was not myth, it was biology. This realization transformed our philosophical outlook. Darkness was no longer simply absence, it was origin. Light was no longer merely revelation, it was continuation. Together they formed a lineage of creation. Life emerged not in spite of darkness but because of it. The universe needed both. As humanity progressed, we wielded both wisely and recklessly. Light gave us science, technology, and power. Darkness gave us contemplation, dreams, and introspection. Civilizations flourished when they honored both, when knowledge expanded without losing humility. When that balance broke, devastation followed. History reminded us that light without shadow becomes blinding, and darkness without light becomes suffocating. Today we stand at a crossroads. We search for life beyond Earth, peering into exoplanets bathed in alien suns. We analyze atmospheres for chemical signatures that suggest biology. We listen for faint signals across interstellar distances. Each discovery expands our understanding and deepens our questions. If life exists elsewhere, did it too emerge from darkness before learning to harness light? Or are we alone in this cosmic balance? Ultimately, the rise of life teaches us that creation is not a straight line from darkness to light. It is a cycle, an intricate negotiation between the two. Planets form from shadowed dust. Life ignites in hidden places. Consciousness awakens beneath starlit skies. Everything we are, every breath, every heartbeat, is a continuation of this delicate ancient story. The cosmos is not just a stage but an inheritance. We are participants in a narrative woven from matter, energy, and time. A narrative that began in darkness, blossomed into light, and continues to evolve. And though we often cling to illumination as the ultimate truth, it is the shadow that gives light form, meaning, and origin. Without darkness there would be no worlds. Without worlds, no life. Without life, no wonder. The rise of life is therefore not merely a biological milestone. It is a philosophical revelation, that creation emerges not when darkness is destroyed, but when it is transformed. Through that transformation, existence becomes possible, awareness blooms, and the universe learns to look back at itself, through our eyes. In the grand narrative of the cosmos, the emergence of intelligence marks a profound turning point. Life had long been evolving, shaping and reshaping itself through the endless trials of natural selection. But awareness, true consciousness, would arrive as one of the rarest and most mysterious products of this ancient dance. Long before humans walked the earth, ecosystems pulsed with vibrant competition, dazzling creativity, and hidden struggles. Yet somewhere within this vast biological theater, a new kind of being arose, one capable not only of perceiving reality, but of understanding it, questioning it, and imagining beyond it. This transition from instinct to thought would reshape how light and darkness were experienced, interpreted, and feared. It was no longer merely a natural contrast but a psychological frontier. The first sparks of intelligence shimmered quietly. Early creatures learned to solve problems, communicate expectations, and adapt with intention. Some hunted in coordinated groups. Others manipulated their environments, building rudimentary shelters or using tools. In these subtle shifts, we find the seeds of consciousness, the ability to anticipate, learn, remember, and innovate. For millions of years, these behaviors were scattered experiments across evolutionary branches. But eventually, on a small blue planet, a species emerged that would push these gifts to astonishing heights. Humans evolved beneath a sky dominated by cycles of light and darkness. Day offered safety, warmth, and visibility. Night veiled predators, concealed dangers, and forced vulnerability. This contrast shaped the primitive mind. Darkness became synonymous with uncertainty. The imagination filled its void with shadows and possibilities. Fear of the dark was not irrational, it was survival. But within that fear lay another seed, curiosity. Our ancestors gazed upward at night and saw patterns in the blackness, stars pricking the darkness like scattered embers. From those distant lights, awe was born. Fire became humanity's first mastery of light. Its flames carved sanctuaries of warmth and safety from the unknown. Clusters of early humans gathered around flickering fires, sharing stories that attempted to explain the mysteries beyond the ring of light. These stories were our first philosophies, our first attempts to confront the duality of night and day, ignorance and knowledge. Fire illuminated not only the world but the mind. With it came imagination, mythology, and the desire to understand. As intelligence deepened, humans began to interpret the natural world as a reflection of their inner struggles. Darkness became a metaphor for the unknown, both external and internal. The cosmos above became a vast map of meaning. The moon's cycle guided tides and seasons. Its phases became symbols of change, death, and rebirth. Constellations were woven into mythologies that explained creation, fate, and morality. People believed that the balance between darkness and light was not only physical but spiritual. Night was the realm of dreams, visions, and spirits. Daylight was the realm of action, work, and clarity. Gradually, humans sought to control this cosmic tension. They learned to track the stars, predict seasons, and use celestial motion to guide agriculture. They built temples aligned with solstices, monuments that captured sunlight with mathematical precision. Civilizations flourished when knowledge expanded, when understanding of light and darkness grew beyond superstition. Yet these same civilizations often remembered their origins in myth. Their religions preserved the old stories: gods who ruled the heavens, demons who prowled the night, and deities who balanced chaos with order. These myths preserved reverence for darkness, which remained a necessary counterpart of light. But curiosity did not rest. As tools developed, so did thought. Humans began to ask deeper questions. Why do stars shine? Why does night fall? What lies beyond the horizon? The quest for knowledge became an unstoppable force. Ancient philosophers in Greece, China, India, and the Middle East pondered the nature of existence. Some believed darkness was primordial, the first state from which all arose. Others saw light as the ultimate truth, the reason for all being. They recognized that the universe seemed to emerge from a void, and that life's journey was the struggle to understand that void. For centuries, humanity's relationship with darkness remained emotional and symbolic. But with time came a new lens: science. Early astronomers charted the heavens with precision. They realized that stars followed patterns, that celestial bodies obeyed principles rather than whim. The sky was no longer merely a canvas for myths, it became a gateway to physics. This new understanding did not banish wonder, it deepened it. With every discovery came new questions. What fuels the sun? How far away are the stars? What lies between them, endless space or something more? The invention of the telescope shattered ancient boundaries. Suddenly, humanity could pierce the shroud of night and observe distant worlds, moons, and galaxies. Darkness was revealed not as emptiness but as depth, a vast expanse filled with mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The old terror of night transformed into scientific curiosity. Light, once a simple phenomenon, became a tool for exploration. Astronomers learned that starlight carried information, clues about composition, temperature, motion, and distance. Through light, humans began to reconstruct the distant past, revealing the origins of stars and galaxies. Yet even as light guided discovery, darkness remained an ever-present enigma. This duality mirrored the expanding complexity of the human mind. With intelligence came the ability to ask profound questions. What created the universe? Why does anything exist at all? What is consciousness and how did it arise? Humans became the only known species capable of contemplating their own origins, not only biologically but cosmically. Intelligence allowed reality to become self-aware. We began to understand that we were made of stardust, that the atoms in our bodies were forged in ancient stars. This realization bridged darkness and light, matter and mind. But intelligence came with burden as well as beauty. Awareness of mortality brought existential fear, the understanding that life is fragile and fleeting. Darkness returned, not as a physical threat but as a psychological one. It became a symbol of the unknown future, of death, of cosmic insignificance. Yet this fear propelled further inquiry. Belief systems arose that promised meaning beyond death. Philosophers debated the nature of the soul, the fate of consciousness, and the possibility of transcendence. Science, meanwhile, sought natural explanations. Together they explored different aspects of the same mystery. In this era of awakening, humanity's perception of darkness evolved again. No longer solely a source of fear, it became a frontier of possibility. Scientists discovered that most of the universe is made not of stars and planets, but of dark matter and dark energy, mysterious substances and forces that shape cosmic evolution. Darkness was no longer absence, it was structure. It guided galaxies, shaped cosmic webs, and influenced the fate of the universe. This revelation forced a profound shift in philosophical thinking. The unseen dominates the universe and light is but a fleeting spark. Harnessing light became one of humanity's greatest achievements. Electricity transformed cities into glowing constellations. Night ceased to be an obstacle. With light came productivity, communication, and expansion. But as society flooded the night with artificial brightness, another problem arose: the loss of darkness. Stars faded from urban skies. The Milky Way, once familiar, became invisible to countless people. The cosmic connection between humans and the night sky began to fray. In losing darkness, humanity risked losing its origin story, its emotional and philosophical roots. Yet, darkness continues to reclaim meaning. Psychologists recognize that silence, solitude, and darkness are essential to mental balance. People seek refuge from the constant brightness of technology, turning to meditation, deep thought, and introspection. Artists paint with shadow. Writers explore the subconscious. Spiritual traditions encourage seekers to embrace inner darkness, to navigate the unknown within themselves. Here, darkness becomes a teacher, a place where fear becomes wisdom. On the scientific frontier, intelligence pushes deeper. Telescopes probe the early universe. Quantum experiments reveal a strange reality where particles behave unpredictably. Light can be both wave and particle. Matter exists as probabilities. At the smallest scales, reality seems to flicker between existence and non-existence. Consciousness itself may influence these states. The line between dark and light, known and unknown, becomes blurred once again. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence emerges from human ingenuity, a new form of awareness built from circuits and code. This new intelligence confronts the same mysteries we do, though from a different vantage. It processes information faster, sees patterns invisible to human eyes, and may one day explore regions of the cosmos we never can. In creating intelligence beyond ourselves, we continue the story of emergence, another step in the evolution of awareness. The rise of intelligence invites us to reconsider our place in the universe. We are observers and participants, products of cosmic history and shapers of cosmic future. Through thought, imagination, and discovery, we transform darkness into meaning. But that darkness remains, always ahead, always deeper. No matter how much we learn, the unknown expands faster than our understanding. Yet this endless pursuit is not defeat, it is purpose. The beauty of intelligence lies not in having answers but in seeking them. Ultimately, the emergence of consciousness reveals a profound truth. The universe created beings capable of wondering why the universe exists. Awareness is the cosmos looking back at itself, contemplating its origins, its laws, its mysteries. Through us, and possibly through other intelligent beings elsewhere, the universe gains perspective. Light and darkness are no longer external forces. They become internal landscapes. Knowledge brings light, curiosity ventures into darkness. Intelligence does not end the ancient dance, it deepens it. The rise of intelligence is therefore not the culmination of cosmic history, but the beginning of a new chapter. We now face questions as immense as the void itself. Did consciousness arise by chance, or is it woven into the fabric of reality? Is intelligence the universe's way of knowing itself? Will awareness one day illuminate the deepest darkness, revealing the origin of existence? Or will new mysteries arise, forever expanding the frontier? This journey from darkness to awareness is still unfolding. Humanity stands at the threshold, gazing outward with telescopes and inward with philosophy. We navigate both the cosmic night and the inner night of the mind, seeking revelation. And as we continue, we discover that the deepest truths lie not in choosing between darkness and light, but in understanding how they shape one another. Without darkness, light has no meaning. Without mystery, knowledge has no purpose. So intelligence becomes the bridge, the living thread that connects the void before creation to the radiance of understanding. It honors the dark origins, embraces the light of discovery, and journeys onward, toward truths yet unseen. Through awareness, the universe dreams, wonders, asks, and in doing so becomes more than matter. It becomes story. In the wake of cosmic evolution, as galaxies matured and the interplay of darkness and light continued to sculpt the universe, a new narrative emerged. One that bridged the raw physical processes of creation with deeper philosophical reflections on existence. This chapter explores how civilizations, scattered like sparks across the tapestry of time, began to interpret darkness not simply as absence, but as a profound symbol of mystery, origin, and inner truth. While astrophysics explains darkness through the absence of photons and the influence of unseen matter and energy, human imagination offered a parallel interpretation. Darkness as the birthplace of creation and the keeper of secrets. From the earliest cave dwellers who stared up at the night sky with reverence to ancient astronomers who charted the heavens, the darkness of the cosmos has been a canvas for storytelling. They saw constellations painted in the blackness, imagined gods traveling between worlds, and believed that darkness was a gateway to realms beyond human comprehension. It offered comfort and terror in equal measure, a stage on which fate and destiny could be read like hidden scripts. In Mesopotamia, priests interpreted eclipses as divine messages, while in Egypt, the sun god Ra journeyed through darkness each night, battling forces of chaos to rise again. These narratives, woven into myth and ritual, forged a deep emotional connection to the cosmos, merging celestial observation with spiritual expectation. As centuries passed, Greek philosophers sought to unravel darkness through logic and reflection. Pythagoras and Plato viewed the cosmos as a living organism whose hidden order was accessible only through introspection. For them, darkness was not simply physical void, but a metaphor for ignorance. To journey from darkness to light meant awakening to truth. This theme echoed across generations, embedding itself in Western thought as an intellectual journey. Illumination symbolized wisdom, expansion of consciousness, and the triumph of reason. Aristotle, gazing into the night sky, spoke of the unmoving mover, a force that brought order from chaos. Yet even as reason advanced, darkness retained its allure as a realm of possibility where human logic found its limits. In India, ancient Vedic texts described darkness as eternal and peaceful, predating the birth of light. The Rigveda speaks of a time when neither existence nor non-existence was defined, wrapped in deep shadow that held the seed of creation. Here, darkness is not adversarial but sacred, a meditative stillness from which the universe sprang. Buddhism later expanded on this theme, teaching that true understanding emerges when one embraces the void within, seeing through illusions. The darkness of the mind, far from being feared, became a path to enlightenment. Meditation sought to still the senses, allowing consciousness to venture into inner shadows where truth resides. Thus, darkness became intertwined with spiritual awakening, its quiet presence a doorway to higher realms of awareness. Medieval Islamic scholars preserved and expanded philosophical and scientific knowledge, interpreting darkness through both theology and observation. They built advanced observatories, crafted intricate star charts, and pondered whether darkness had structure or essence. While many held that only divine light possessed true being, darkness was seen as a veil, necessary for human perception of light. This duality influenced poets like Rumi, who wrote that one must travel through darkness to find the heart's radiance. The night became a metaphor for longing, separation, and the soul's journey toward union with the divine. In this blend of science and poetry, darkness acquired layers of meaning, a space where reason and emotion converged, where the line between external and internal worlds blurred. The Renaissance reignited scientific curiosity, challenging mythological explanations with empirical methods. Telescopes revealed celestial bodies hidden from the naked eye, showing that darkness was not empty but filled with stars and galaxies. Galileo's discoveries eroded belief in an Earth-centered universe, ushering in an era where darkness became fertile ground for scientific exploration. Newton's laws, describing gravity and motion, showed that cosmic order persisted even in the night's silence. Yet, the more scientists uncovered, the more mysteries surfaced. Darkness seemed to conceal endless layers of complexity, as if inviting deeper inquiry. It inspired wonder and humility, reminding humanity of its smallness in a vast cosmos. The Enlightenment sharpened these questions. Rationalists claimed that darkness represented superstition and ignorance, to be conquered by logic. However, Romantic poets pushed back, arguing that mystery has value. Wordsworth and Shelley saw night as a bridge to the sublime, a state where emotion exceeds reason. In their writings, darkness became an emotional landscape, inviting introspection. They believed that only through contact with the unknown can individuals grasp the fullness of existence. Thus, darkness was no longer a void to be feared, but a companion on the journey toward meaning. It became a symbol of the human soul, with its quiet corners where memory and desire entwine. By the 19th century, darkness acquired new dimensions with discoveries in thermodynamics and electromagnetism. Scientists realized that light, heat, and energy followed universal laws, while darkness hinted at unseen forces. The discovery of infrared radiation revealed that objects emit energy even if invisible to the eye. This expanded sensory perception, suggesting that darkness conceals more than absence. It hides realms accessible only through new technologies. Later, quantum physics shattered assumptions about reality, suggesting that particles exist in probabilistic states, neither fully light nor fully dark. The boundaries between matter and emptiness blurred, making darkness a playground for theoretical exploration. In the 20th century, cosmology transformed human understanding again. The Big Bang Theory proposed that the universe emerged from a singularity, a moment of infinite density, explaining the origin of light and cosmic expansion. Observations of cosmic microwave background radiation showed that darkness once sheltered the universe, acting as a cradle. Scientists realized that most of the cosmos is invisible. Dark matter and dark energy dominate, shaping galaxies and accelerating expansion. These discoveries redefine darkness not as emptiness but as a predominant force, influencing everything visible. Humanity, once confident in its knowledge, found itself humbled by hidden realms. Simultaneously, artists continued turning to darkness as a muse. Modern painters explored black as a color with depth and emotion. Writers crafted narratives where darkness symbolized trauma, transformation, or renewal. Cinema used shadow to evoke tension, wonder, and ambiguity. The interplay of light and dark became a psychological language. Horror films exploited primal fear of the unknown. Science fiction envisioned civilizations navigating cosmic shadows. Documentaries revealed the abyssal oceans, concealed from sunlight yet teeming with life. These artistic expressions mirrored scientific revelations, affirming that darkness is both external phenomenon and internal experience. Today, darkness remains central to both scientific and philosophical inquiry. The emergence of quantum computing, string theory, and multiverse hypotheses challenges perception further. Scholars debate whether darkness is fundamental or emergent. Perhaps, as some theories suggest, light is a temporary fluctuation while darkness is eternal. Philosophers contemplate whether consciousness arose because darkness necessitated awareness. Without night, would humans have looked upward and wondered? Darkness may have been the catalyst for curiosity, the silent prompt that ignited thought. This chapter culminates in a synthesis. Darkness, initially apparent as absence, unfolds into complex layers of meaning. It is a physical state, a spiritual metaphor, and a psychological force. In the cosmic arena, darkness nurtured creation, providing space for stars to ignite. In the human mind, it nurtures imagination, guiding inquiry beyond the visible. Through contrast, darkness grants light its power. Without shadow, radiance has no significance. Each culture, era, and discipline approaches darkness differently, yet all recognize its fundamental role in shaping both universe and humanity. Across cultures, darkness has been viewed as a womb of potential. The Maori believed night preceded day. Creation myths often start within a silent void. African cosmologies describe darkness as a protective cloak, guarding sacred knowledge. In the Americas, Mayan priests interpreted eclipses as cosmic conversations, where darkness temporarily reclaimed the sky. Such stories reveal that humanity never feared darkness solely, it also revered it. This reverence emerged from awareness. Beneath the night's canopy lies a world of possibility. The unknown beckons more strongly than the known. Psychologically, darkness activates imagination. The absence of visual cues forces the brain to fill gaps, generating narratives, fears, and insights. This mental creativity parallels cosmic formation. Where matter was scarce, gravity sculpted structures from almost nothing. Similarly, humans forge meaning from the blankness of night. The philosopher Kierkegaard suggested that confronting darkness, internal or external, builds authenticity. By facing uncertainty, individuals define themselves. Jung echoed this, arguing that the shadow self holds keys to personal evolution. In this way, darkness becomes a teacher, offering lessons hidden from daylight. In modern neuroscience, studies show darkness influences brain function. Melatonin release enhances rest, memory consolidation, and emotional processing. Dreams, occurring in the dark, become theaters where subconscious fragments weave symbolic stories, guiding personal growth. This mirrors how galaxies form in cosmic darkness, assembling stars from dispersed gas. The brain, too, creates order from fragments. Darkness is a catalyst for both cosmic and cognitive evolution. Technologically, humanity continues probing darkness with powerful tools. Gravitational wave detectors listen for ripples in spacetime, revealing collisions of black holes, objects so dark they trap light. These waves allow us to see without light, expanding senses beyond electromagnetic signals. Particle accelerators recreate early universe conditions, glimpsing moments when darkness reigned before photons emerged. Space telescopes peer into deep time, capturing faint whispers of galaxies formed billions of years ago. Each breakthrough peels back a layer of mystery, yet unveils more questions. Ethically, darkness raises questions about boundaries. Should humanity illuminate every shadow? Some ecosystems thrive in darkness. Deep-sea creatures depend on eternal night. Overexposure to artificial light disrupts circadian rhythms, harming health and biodiversity. The pursuit to conquer darkness risks neglecting its necessity. Balance is crucial, light guides but darkness restores. This duality lies at the heart of ecological philosophy. As exploration advances, new paradoxes emerge. Dark matter interacts gravitationally yet remains invisible. Dark energy accelerates expansion with unknown origin. Scientists propose exotic particles, hidden dimensions, or quantum fields. Philosophers wonder if darkness symbolizes limits of perception, the boundary between known and unknowable. Perhaps the universe retains secrets intentionally, preserving mystery to inspire wonder. In fiction, darkness continues evolving. It is no longer mere villain but complex presence. In fantasy, darkness shelters wisdom. In science fiction, it holds gateways to other universes. Characters confront shadows to find purpose. These stories reflect reality. Growth requires stepping into the unknown. Darkness becomes mentor, challenging heroes to transcend limits. Ultimately, darkness before light remains an allegory of beginnings. Creation often starts quietly, unseen. Seeds germinate underground, stars form in cold nebulae, thoughts gestate in silent minds. Darkness is fertile space, granting time for potential to gather. When light finally arrives, it reveals what darkness protected. This interplay is fundamental. Without darkness there is no birth, no growth, no revelation. As we look ahead, humanity stands on another threshold. The next breakthroughs may emerge not from bright laboratories but from subtle whispers in darkness, signals from the universe's earliest moments or insights from meditative introspection. Embracing darkness allows discovery beyond current imagination. It invites humility, patience, and curiosity. The journey continues, guided by both shadow and light, reminding us that every revelation begins with a question hidden in darkness. In this balance, darkness remains a quiet architect of existence, shaping what we perceive and what lies beyond our grasp, inviting us to explore deeper and redefine our understanding again and again. Ever onward into infinite mystery. In the quiet aftermath of countless cosmic cycles, after stars have been born and destroyed, and after galaxies have spun their great spiraling arms so many times that time itself feels stretched thin, we return to the question that began our journey: what created darkness before light? At first, it sounded like a scientific inquiry, something to be decoded through equations and telescopes. But now, after traveling through cosmology, philosophy, culture, and consciousness, the question stands transformed. It is no longer just about physics. It has become a mirror reflecting not only the universe's beginnings, but the origins of our own understanding. Darkness existed long before photons ever danced in the cosmic void. It preceded stars, galaxies, and the very fabric of visible reality. It held space for potential, a womb where existence condensed from the infinite. Before electrons met protons to form atoms, before fusion lit the first stellar furnace, darkness was the silent backdrop. It was not emptiness, not a simple absence, but a presence layered with structure and intention. Modern science calls this primordial condition the quantum vacuum, a bubbling ocean of fields and fluctuations, seething with possibilities, where the seeds of matter, energy, space, and time rested unassembled. In that vacuum, quantum disturbances flickered, the first tremors of becoming. This phase might appear featureless, yet it contained everything the universe would become. The great irony is that absence was never truly empty. Darkness was, and remains, alive with unseen forces. Dark energy, dark matter, and the void itself serve as scaffolding for reality. Without them, nothing luminous could ever emerge. Darkness did not simply precede light, it shaped light's path, its geography, its destiny. When primordial fluctuations gave birth to the first photons, darkness held their boundaries. When galaxies formed, it offered gravitational arms for the spiraling stars to cling to. Thus, darkness has been creator and guide, not rival or enemy. In this way, darkness emerges not as a passive condition but as a progenitor. One could imagine it like fertile soil in which seeds of illumination grew. Light, so revered in religion and philosophy as the ultimate symbol of truth, arose from a deeper truth hidden beneath. The story is not about darkness ending when light arrives. It is about their coexistence. Light reveals, but darkness preserves. Light burns brightly, but darkness endures softly. When a star dies, its brilliance fades, yet darkness remains unchanged. That permanence suggests that darkness is the universe's most fundamental state, while light is a temporary expression, beautiful, powerful, but fleeting. As the cosmos expanded, regions that once simmered with energy cooled. After the recombination era, darkness flooded the universe again, waiting patiently for the first stars. But during this time, the cosmic night was not uneventful. Invisible forces continued sculpting structure. Gravity, the quiet artist, etched patterns into the darkness, drawing matter together into the first clusters. This era, known as the Cosmic Dark Ages, is a testament to how darkness prepares the stage for light. Only after enough gas accumulated did nuclear fusion ignite, birthing the first stars. From these, the next generation of stars and galaxies emerged. In this story, darkness is not defeated, it is collaborator, midwife, architect. Humanity has always been drawn to this interplay, even before we possessed scientific language to describe it. Ancient stories often begin with darkness. From the void, creation unfolds. In the Babylonian Enuma Elish, darkness precedes the gods. In Genesis, darkness covers the deep before divine speech illuminates existence. In Egyptian myth, the sun god Ra emerges daily from watery night. Across continents and eras, the idea repeats. Darkness is the first realm, a place of pure potential. These myths did not arise from ignorance, they arose from intuition. Humans sense that darkness is fundamental. It surrounds life, shapes dreams and gives rise to meaning. Today, in laboratories and observatories, scientists are rediscovering that intuition through mathematics and measurement. They now estimate that nearly 95% of the universe is invisible, composed of dark matter and dark energy. These forces govern the universe at its largest scales. They dictate how galaxies form, how space stretches, how destiny unfolds. The familiar world, stars, planets, atoms, human bodies, is only a sliver of reality. We live in the minority portion of existence. Everything we see is an exception. Darkness is the rule. This realization humbles us. It reminds us that what appears most familiar is not necessarily most fundamental. Dark matter acts like a skeleton. It binds galaxies, allowing stars to gather in stable spirals rather than dissipating into chaos. Without dark matter, our world would not exist. Dark energy, meanwhile, is stranger still. It drives cosmic expansion, pushing galaxies farther apart faster and faster. Together, they form a cosmic duet, determining the universe's long-term fate. These forces are invisible yet essential, just like the darkness that preceded the first light. We are now at the frontier, wondering what these invisible components truly are. Are they particles, fields, dimensions beyond perception? Each theory offers glimpses but not answers. The universe refuses to make this final truth easy. Just as darkness sheltered the birth of photons, it now shelters secrets still beyond our grasp. We may need new physics or a new form of perception to understand what darkness really is. We are like the first people who saw stars and thought them tiny fires. Soon we may realize we are once again standing at the edge of the known, staring into mystery. But the narrative is not only external. Darkness unfolds within us as well. Our minds are oceans of unconsciousness, where thoughts emerge before we are aware of them. Creativity often arises from moments of inward silence. Dreams, born from neural darkness, carry messages we struggle to interpret. Just as physical darkness nurtured the first stars, internal darkness nurtures wisdom. The philosopher Carl Jung spoke of the shadow self, a metaphorical darkness that, when confronted, leads to wholeness. He believed that ignoring this internal void leads to imbalance. In this sense, darkness is not to be feared but embraced, for it holds keys to personal evolution. Light cannot reveal everything. Some truths are visible only in silence, in the absence of illumination. The deepest introspection happens when the world grows quiet. Monks retreat into caves, seekers sit in darkness to meditate, and artists find inspiration in solitude. When external light dims, inner light awakens. This pattern mirrors cosmic history. External darkness provided the stage for internal ignition, stars lighting themselves from within. As we stand at this intersection of outer and inner darkness, the question transforms again. What created darkness before light? Perhaps the answer is that darkness was never created. Perhaps it is the foundation, eternal and unchanging. Light is a temporary expression of underlying reality. When all stars fade, when galaxies dissolve, darkness will remain. And yet, that darkness will still hold the seeds for future universes. Just as forests regrow after fire, new cosmos may emerge from the quantum vacuum's fertile emptiness. Darkness may be the true cycle. Light is the fleeting chapter. And what of us? Humans, tiny sparks flickering for a moment, have witnessed both shadows and brilliance. We are children of darkness, born from a universe that began in obscurity, and children of light, carried forward by starlight and knowledge. Our curiosity reflects this duality. We seek the unknown, compelled to explore what lies beyond. We invent language, art, science, all to illuminate mysteries. But we also crave darkness. We sleep, we dream, we return to the shade to heal. Our souls recognize that darkness is not merely absence but presence. In the future, humanity will continue probing cosmic darkness. New telescopes will peer deeper than ever before. Quantum experiments will challenge assumptions about emptiness. Perhaps we will learn to harness dark energy or decode dark matter. Maybe we will discover that darkness holds entire ecosystems of particle interactions, invisible universes layered atop our own. Maybe consciousness itself emerges from this hidden realm. Every breakthrough will reveal more complexity, and likely more mystery. Yet even if science answers the mechanical how, philosophy will continue wrestling with the why. Why does darkness exist? Why must light emerge from it? Why does the universe require both? These questions speak to meaning rather than mechanism. They gesture toward the possibility that darkness is not simply a backdrop but a participant in existence's story. It defines contrast, shapes evolution, and challenges perception. Without it, nothing would grow. Without shadow, brilliance has no relief. In the final contemplation, darkness becomes a teacher. It instructs through emptiness, through the space it provides for reflection. We learn humility by recognizing how little we see. We learn patience, knowing that understanding arrives slowly. We learn curiosity because mystery invites pursuit. And we learn reverence because some truths remain beyond grasp. The story of darkness before light is the story of potential before form, silence before speech, possibility before reality. It is the origin that continues to shape our future. As long as humanity gazes into the night sky, we will be reminded of where we came from, not stardust alone, but shadow and void woven into the fabric of being. The stars are temporary flames. Darkness is the eternal sea from which they rise. In the end, we understand that darkness is not opposite to light. It is its source, partner, and destination. Light reveals the world. Darkness gives it meaning. One cannot exist without the other. Together, they form the rhythm of the cosmos, the heartbeat of existence. When viewers stand beneath a quiet night sky, they witness the oldest truth: the light is fragile, the darkness infinite. And yet, it is from this infinite darkness that light is continually born. The universe teaches us that endings are beginnings, that silence births song, and that the greatest mysteries remain hidden in shadow. Thus, the journey does not conclude, it only circles deeper. What created darkness before light? Perhaps nothing needed to. Darkness is the canvas on which existence paints. It is the original state, the quiet architect of everything that followed. And as long as curiosity survives, we will always return to that boundless night, seeking, wondering, creating meaning from mystery, just as the universe once created light from darkness. In the quiet aftermath of cosmic awakening, the universe stands on the edge of revelation. Darkness remains, but it is no longer the untouched void it once was. It is threaded with memory shaped by the birth and death of stars. Here, darkness becomes more than an emptiness. It transforms into a silent witness of creation, a canvas upon which every photon has left its mark. The first galaxies have formed, pulling luminous spirals out of once formless night, yet in between their radiant arms lie vast stretches of cold shadow, waiting. These shadows are not failures of light but the cradle that allowed light to rise at all. Without the background of the unknown, brilliance would have no meaning. The story of darkness before light returns again, reminding us that absence is often the first artist shaping presence. As human eyes and instruments gaze deeper into space, they are, in truth, gazing backward in time, toward this ancient frontier where light is young and darkness is old. Every measurement, every signal, is an attempt to decipher the silence. What remains hidden is not frightening but humbling, the realization that mystery is essential. Even now, most of the universe is invisible, dark energy, dark matter, yet essential to structure and existence. What came before light still shapes what comes after. Its presence invites us not to despair but to wonder. Across billions of years, the interplay between darkness and light becomes the universe's most persistent rhythm. Stars ignite and fade, galaxies form, collide, dissolve. Yet the darkness endures, not as an enemy of light, but as its silent partner. Light reveals what darkness once held. Darkness preserves what light has not yet touched. In this balance, creation thrives. The final secrets of the cosmos are still hidden, waiting in the places where illumination has yet to reach. For us, this is not just a scientific question, it is a philosophical mirror. We seek to illuminate our own ignorance, understanding that every discovery expands both knowledge and mystery. Darkness before light becomes a metaphor for curiosity, The instinct to look beyond what is seen, to search for origins deeply buried in time. We are descendants of stardust, yet born from darkness. The journey to understand the beginning is ongoing, shaped equally by what we know and what we can only imagine. The universe invites us forward, not with certainty but with wonder.